Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I have another amazing show for you today. I want to talk about the Bitcoin halving cycle and my estimations for what that means for the price. All right, but first we're going to go ahead and go through our Bitcoin Chart TA. I have put two lines here representing the most likely support here at about 19,800 or so. And then below this level, if it falls below 19,800, then what you're looking at is support at 18,800 or about $1,000 below that level, plus or minus a couple $100. Maybe you can move this up just a little bit here. But that's where I expect Bitcoin to find support. It's found some support here, and then if it breaks through his support level here, it can go down all the way here to 18,900 next after that point. Now, a lot of this is going to be dependent upon what's going on in the market tomorrow in the stock market. If the stock market plunges, we could definitely see it threaten this support level here, and if it's up, we could get a nice little relief bounce. We'll see what happens there. For Ethereum, I've drawn into another upwards channel here because it's still in an upwards channel technically. Some people could call this a bear flag. That's entirely possible. And if this is a bear flag, then what would happen is you would see it fall out the bottom of the bottom part of this channel here. So that would be about 1440 or so. If it goes below that level, then we can see this bear flag pattern play out. In which case, if it does, you're looking at support here at about 1360. And then again, probably in the range of about 1200 or so in this area right here. So that is a definite possibility. Again, if we get the market tomorrow and everything falls tomorrow, then we could definitely wind up seeing it break through the bottom half of this channel and complete the bear flag formation. All right, but today I want to go ahead and talk mostly about the Bitcoin price cycle. Okay, so I have here the Bitcoin realized price and kind of a representation of Bitcoin and its cycles. So you can see here we have on the right there is a counter that has days until the next halving, and this goes from 0 to 1400. 0 is blue and 1400 is red. So every time you see it turn from blue to red, that means that the halving has just occurred. Okay. So what that tells me is you can take a look here. There are 3 cycles, and we have about almost a decade or so of data. So when we look at these cycles, one thing becomes immediately apparent, and that is usually you wind up bottoming in this green range here. And I'm going to go into a little bit further detail in a little bit, but you bottom here in this green range, okay, which it's done 3 times before. Then you get into this kind of bluish, sort of dark green range, and then from there you go a little bit higher, and then you wind up hitting the halving, right? And the halving kind of acts as fuel to the fire, okay? And it just sets the Bitcoin price on fire, and from there we usually see a huge run up from the price, almost parabolic in some cases, and it eventually tops out about this yellow color here. But again, I'm going to go more in depth here in a minute. But what is the Bitcoin halving? Okay, so the Bitcoin halving is an event that happens after a certain number of blocks have been reached, and what it does is it halves, just like the name implies, it halves the amount of rewards per block. Okay, so originally you get 50 Bitcoin per block, and then from there it cut down to 25, and then from there it cuts down and cuts down and cuts down further from that. And so the reason why this is significant is because it puts a strain on the supply of Bitcoin, because now you have miners, and these miners are completing blocks, and they're getting less rewards per block. So Bitcoin is becoming more and more scarce because there's less rewards that are being paid out when these blocks complete. Okay, so it's a restriction on supply. All right, and so we have here in CoinMarketCap, there's a halving countdown of about 545 days, and the block reward rate will decrease from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoins in that 345 days. Okay. So let's get to the important parts of this. I've analyzed this price chart here, and based on the estimates given from CoinMarketCap, I've come to some very important conclusions here. All right, so first I have a historical layout of the 3 halvings that we've had before here, and we've seen that based on the price. Like the November 28th, 2012, it started at about $12 or so, that having the date of that, and it went all the way up to $1,200, and that's an increase of about 1,000%, or that's an increase of about 1,000x. Then we take a look at the July 9th, 2016 halving. That started at 650 and went all the way to a peak high of 19,300. That's a 29x. We take a look at May 11th, 2020 halving. That started at about $1,800, about $8,821, and the peak high for that was $67,549. Okay, which is an increase of about 8x. All right. So you can see here that from the start of the halving, all right, to the peak high, we have an increase of 1,000x, 29x, and then 8x. All right, so you'll notice there's kind of diminishing returns. The amount of gain is reduced, okay, after each cycle. So what I've noticed after analyzing this chart here, I've noticed that you have your peak lows between 400 and 600 days from halving. All right. So that's when you normally expect the Bitcoin price to bottom, between 400 and 600 days before next halving. Currently, we are 545 days until the halving. So we are literally right in the middle of that range right now. And if it went all the way to 400 days, you'd be looking at a date of January 20th, 2023. So what this means is that if it follows the standard cycle and it moves between 400 and 600 days, then what you're looking at is that between now and January, the Bitcoin price should bottom between now and January, all right? And the peak highs are usually between 1,000 and 1,200 days from the next halving. All right, so what does that mean about the next halving, right? So if we take a look at the halving countdown again, 545 days from now, we get an approximate date of February 24th, 2024. That is an approximate date for the halving, all right? And when you take a similar price pattern that we've seen here, 1,000, 29, and 8x, my estimates for the next halving price, the next peak after the halving price, is going to be about 2 to 6 times or so. So whatever the next halving price is going to be, and it's really hard to estimate that because you're looking at almost a year and a half from now. It's going to be, the peak of that is going to be 2 to 6 times of whatever that halving price is. So if it's $40,000, then you're looking at anywhere from 80 to 120 or so, or sorry, 240. You're looking at around that range. So if we just took today's price in Bitcoin, which is not a guarantee it'll even be that price, but if you took today's price, you're looking at anywhere from 40,000 to about 120,000 or so. But again, it's difficult to estimate what the actual halving price is going to be in February of 2024. I will try to update this as much as possible as we get new information coming in, but that would also, if you estimate it out and this cycle played out exactly like the previous cycles have played out, you expect that from the halving date to the peak would be approximately 1.5 years, and that would put you at a peak date of August 2025. So you have the halving, which would, in my opinion, be the beginning of the next bull market, and then you have the peak of that bull market approximately coming in around August 2025. Again, this is an estimate. This is very rough estimates given the previous cycles that we've seen for Bitcoin. But I think that this actually gives us a fantastic opportunity to just look at the possibilities that we could see for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin price. Because even if we took the base price from today, 20,000 or so, and we multiplied it by 2 to 4x or 2 to 6x, we're still looking at a 2 to 6x. We're still looking at $40,000 to $120,000 range in the price. And that's, again, approximately in 3 years or so. And I think that's a fair point. I think that's very fair. This isn't, I'm not saying, well, okay, we're going to $1 million in, in 10 years. I don't think that's realistic. But looking at a 2 to 6x in 3 years, I think is very realistic for the Bitcoin price. And this just bolsters my case to continued dollar cost averaging, which is my strategy right now. I will continue to put money into Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin at regular intervals in order to ensure that my average Bitcoin price is low, all right? Without having to worry about what the next move is going to be in the short term. But again, I like to use Chart TA to give me an idea of some of the best times to buy. So, and I think that with Chart TA, you can also use it to get the best buy prices and the best sell prices, and potentially avoid buying when it's all the way at the peak and selling when it's all the way into the bear market. All right, so that's all I got for you guys today. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter. It did take me a little while to put this together. This is all my own information. I didn't take this from anybody else. All right, that's all I've got for you guys today. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, signing out.